sign on? I know I'm a minute late. Lord Potato, Mr. Taylor, and Plastodon, hello. Oh. All right. Most likely the final day going through this. And I say that because there's very little left. So I'm just making an assumption. So this could end up being the most boring one going through this book so far, because there's really not a lot of stuff to play. But let's find out what happens. Once again, it says the stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended thing. Apparently I need to look into changing that somehow. Bit rate. Alright. Recommend you use a stream bitrate of 6,800. Okay. Then let's do that. Changing the bitrate. See if that helps improve anything. Alright, applying. Alright. Andrew, you made it. Hello. Alright, well, I just changed the bitrate there. Stream status good, it says. So, hopefully it'll be even better then. Alright. So, I think we're about ready here. Yes, indeed. Okay. So, my assumption is today is the final day. Working through. Oh, I just changed the bitrate again. No. Oh, that warning just is old. Anyway, yes. So, final day, I assume, working through Speed Mechanics for lead guitar by Troy Stetina. So, it's been, I don't know. It's been interesting going through the book. Perhaps I'll do some kind of final thoughts thing at the end of the stream. We'll see where we end up in time. Or we end up on time. How much time I got left by the end of the damn thing? I don't know how to talk. So there we go. Lord Potato's back. I didn't know you left. Where did you go? Alright. Okay, here we go. So yeah, started in the last section of the book, which is part 3, going over musical value. And did a lot of reading last time. But here we go. Intervals. Going over intervals next. So, an interval is the distance between two notes. When the notes are played together, it is called a harmonic interval. When the notes follow one another, it is called a melodic interval. Here, harmonic intervals are the focus. So, when two notes are played together, you hear 3 things. 2 notes plus a third component, the way they blend together. Each interval has its own qualities. The intervals are numbered from the notes of the major scale. They are divided into two categories, perfect and imperfect. The imperfect intervals have a major and... Whoops, I read that wrong. The imperfect intervals have major and minor versions. The major versions are found in the notes of the major scale. The minor versions are found by flattening or lowering them a half step, 1 fret. The perfect intervals do not have major or minor inversions. So the perfect ones they got going there is unison. So that would be one. Unison. So yep, an octave. Perfect fourth. Perfect fifth. So imperfect, you got your major seconds. Maybe I should do this clean. That's your major second. And then you got your major third, major sixth, and major seventh. Then you got minor second. Whoops, that's not true. Well, I did that wrong from the get-go. Why am I even bothering with that? I know these things. Second interval. Got your major second right there. And then your major third. And then, yes, your major sixth. Major seventh. Then you get your minor second. Lots of dissonance on that one. Minor third. Minor sixth. Minor seventh. The most obvious distinction between intervals is the level of consonance or dissonance. That is, whether the notes blend well together or not. The chart below shows the intervals with their relative levels of consonance or dissonance. So, nice consonants we have unison, octave, fifth, or perfect fifth and perfect fourth. And then we start getting more dissonant here. So you got your major third, and then you got the sixth, apparently more dissonant. Major second has even more. And the major seventh has even more. So Staniac, I will try my best to remember to put that on today. Okay, so yeah, beyond this, each interval has its own particular flavor. Play and listen to each interval above and see if you can identify with any of the descriptions below. So unison and octave. Same note, fits perfectly together without interaction. Sounds thin. Perfect fifth. Strong, hollow, stark, empty, barren. How can it sound strong and empty at the same time? I don't know about that one, but all right. Perfect fourth. Less consonant than fifth. Wants to fall to major third. Major third. Colorful, happy, satisfied, restful. No need to move. Minor third. Delicate, sad, dark, and mournful. Major sixth. Colorful and happy as a major third, but not as restful. Falls to the fifth. Minor sixth. Sad as minor third, but leans strongly on, wants to fall to the fifth. The major second. It's turbulent, dissonant, and suspended. Minor second. I'm going to make this easier on my hand. very turbulent, dramatic, leans strongly, and wants to fall to root. Major seventh. Dissonant, pulls strongly up to the octave, also delicate and jazzy. Minor seventh. Suspended, wants to fall to major chord with root on the fourth. I wonder if he's talking about chord positioning. And then there's diminished fifth. Very unstable. Demands resolution as a harmonic interval. Sounds odd as a melodic interval. Diminished fifth is also the same as augmented fourth. The tone that you use will affect the feelings. Distortion will accentuate the powerful aspects. For example, a minor third might sound more dark or doomed instead of delicate. Of course, these are purely subjective impressions, so you are certainly free to draw your own conclusions. I do think it is helpful and important to think about how different chords and modes and stuff sound to you, so you can have a better idea and understanding of what you're doing or what you're listening to. Oh, Stetina goes, wee, yes. Yeah, they are pretty cool. I almost didn't, well, the reason why I finally have a guitar with a tremolo system is because I couldn't get the Steiniac without the tremolo system. I was like, fine, I'll deal with it. I was like, yep, that's pretty neat. So next part of the book, melodic tendency. Some of the intervals are comfortable staying where they are while others want to move. This is called melodic tendency. Generally, more dissonant intervals want to move to more stable sounding intervals as if there is some difficulty or tension to be resolved. Moving from a state of dissonance to consonance is known as resolution. This is responsible for melodic tendency. The chord tones, first, third, and fifth, are the most stable sounding. Listen to and play the following exercises and notice the melodic tendencies of various tones. Oh well, that involves listening to the audio, which we will not be doing. So major seventh up to one octave, or I can just do that. Can also do it like this. Minor sixth down to the fifth. Perfect fourth down to the major third. And a minor second falling to the root. I don't know how he's doing that one. Is he doing an octave? Is it a unison thing? Alright, and then the next one, whole steps pull 2. Oh, sorry. Those 4 examples, it says half steps will pull strongest. And then it says whole steps pull 2, but not as strongly. So we got minor seventh up to an octave. Major second down to the root, or up to the major third. So major sixth falling to the fifth. Perfect fourth falling to the minor third. Holding on to a note that wants to move and resisting its resolution creates a suspension. Common suspensions use the fourth and second. Fourth wants to fall to a major third. The second wants to rise to a minor third. All of these exercises above reflect melodic tendencies only over the root note. Of course, the tendency of where any particular note wants to move changes as the chords change, but once you can hear the subtle leanings of the notes, your ear will lead you, and hearing it is the point. Listening to music from the Baroque, and classical periods is good for developing more sensitivity to melodic tendency. Resolution is at the very basis of all of the movement in this music. The Baroque period corresponds roughly to the years 1600 and 1750 and includes the composers Bach, Vivaldi, and Handel. Is it pronounced Handel or Handel? The classical period includes composers such as Mozart, Haydn, and Beethoven, and ranged from about 1775 to 1825. A good piece to start with is Beethoven's Sonata Number 14 in C minor, also known as the Moonlight Sonata. As you listen, try to anticipate where it will go next. However, actually playing the music will help you even... Whoops, I'm reading that wrong. However, actually playing the music will help you even more than listening. Should be more than listening. I don't think "then" is the right word. Maybe I'm wrong. The following piece is from J.S. Bach's first sonata for cello and is a standard for the classical guitar repertoire. You'll find the melody is in the higher voices of the arpeggiated chords. Listen to it climb and fall as the chords move and resolve. Here it is transcribed for pick-style guitar. In the few places where two notes are to be played simultaneously, play the higher note with your middle finger while sounding the lower note with the pick. Again, the main point with this piece is to listen for the subtle leanings of the notes. Oh boy, here we go. Time to butcher some more classical stuff. And that's a good chunk of material right there. We've got 4 pages. And then after that, we've got a few scales. And that's it. We're almost done. We're almost out. Odd that he would introduce hybrid picking like that, but yeah, there you go. Oh boy. I gotta change pickups on this. Nope. He wants it, Ooh, hold on a minute. So he's got... Okay. hell of a part. Lord. What? No. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Well, there we go. Jesus, Christmas, Christ Almighty. Jace K? Fuck. Well, there we go. I hope you're still there so I can answer your question now that I finished stumbling my way through a thing I'm never going to try playing again. Hi, is training with a metronome equal to training with backing track? No. I wouldn't say so. Unless... Yeah, because like training, when you say training, I'm assuming you mean like, you know, pushing your speed to go faster and faster, stuff like that. Unless the backing track is able to continue to go up faster, 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 then no. Because yeah, with metronome training, to push yourself to get faster and faster, you need to be able to quickly increase that speed right away, right away. Andrew, you like the sound of the thing I was playing. Well, I guess I didn't butcher it too bad then. That's good. Not to knock the composition, but I would think, especially for a metal audience, there could be I would go about a very different approach to teaching people or introducing like interval styles and whatnot, and also just having a huge piece like that, or maybe not huge, but I don't think people are really going to understand, like, well, what intervals are they really playing, because it's not being explained as to what it is. Yes, he explained what intervals are, but then, like, here's a piece of music that has a ton of movement and intervals all over the dang place. There you go. It's like, well, someone's going to have to explain what's happening for anyone who wants to use that piece of music as guidance on, what this stuff is all about, which I'm not going to be breaking down right now because that would take a long time to truly break all that stuff down. So I'm going to plow ahead and get to the next part of the book. All right, that's the last bit of coffee for the day. So, next we have building the connection. If you ever had an idea in your head but can't seem to get it out, or can't seem to get it out quite right, or by the time you've found the first few notes you've lost the essence of the idea, the problem may be that your ideas are too vague. You're not thinking in terms of notes that have a definite enough pitch. These musical ideas must be more concrete. I suppose that's a possibility. Your voice is very closely integrated with your thoughts. If you hum a pitch, you can be quite sure that your mind has a very clear perception of that note. If, on the other hand, you can't hum the pitch, it is because you do not have it clear enough in your mind to be able to express it. In a sense, the voice is just an extension of thought. If you know a pitch clearly enough to hum, then you really know it. Okay, fair point. But a lot of people can't sing, so I wonder just how accurate is he expecting people to be when it comes to humming something. Because, just because you can hum something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to apply it to the instrument or the other way around. So, anyway, scale and voice integration. In the exercises below, play the lowest note and hum or sing its pitch. Oh, shit, I gotta do humming and singing, huh? Continue up each note of the scale and back down. The scale tones relative to the tonic are shown above each note. That's not a bad thing to do. Certainly not. What if somebody can't hum that low? Starting as before, take the same scales and try humming each note of the scale before you play the notes. Before I play it, then play the note just to check yourself. This time we'll use the key of G. I am not going to try that. I don't know, can I at least get this? No, fuck that. No, I ain't doing it. I guess that's a fine thing to do, but no, I'm not interested in doing that one. I can figure out melodies and whatnot on the guitar well enough. But I really don't feel like doing that, so I'm going to pass. Interval recognition. When you are given the pitch of one note, the ability to know the pitch of any other note is known as having relative pitch. Developing relative pitch will enable you to learn music much faster and easier by ear. In fact, eventually you can learn a song just by hearing it and know how to play it before you even touch the guitar. Now, there's definitely some truth in that because... Tristan, hello? Save the best to the last. Because like... when you learn a bunch of different, like songs, riffs, licks, things like that, and you're able to recreate it, when you hear that being done in other songs, then you kind of know already, like, oh yeah, he's doing something like this, doing something like that. So a lot of that for me, my experience is the more you learn, the more you're able to replicate things and pick up on things, much more easily. But, I don't know. I would think that just because you sing it, I mean, sure, that can help, I guess, because, you get more in tune with how the pitch is and all that. And you can figure things out a little more easily if you can hum the notes or sing it. But, like, say you got someone who can sing really well. That doesn't mean they're going to be able to figure all the stuff out on an instrument really well, because they might not know how to play anything on the instrument. I suppose they can stumble their way through like a piano or something like that. But guitar, it's, you know, if that thing's not in tune, that's going to cause a problem. So I don't know. I know I'm being nitpicky here, but, you know, it's just things I would never, a lot of things in here I just would not give to students. Anyway, continuing on. So it will also help you grasp the music in your imagination more clearly. To do this, you must know two things: what intervals look like on guitar and how they sound. First, you must memorize the interval patterns on the guitar, which we've already looked at. These patterns remain the same on any string except when the interval pattern crosses between the B string and the G string, or the second and third string. In this case, the higher note must be raised one fret to maintain the same interval. This is because each of the strings on the guitar in standard tuning is a perfect fourth. So perfect fourth apart, except the second and third strings, which are only a major third. Yes. So for the following ear training exercise, first an interval is named, then a root note is given. Play the correct interval. After a few seconds, the interval is played on the cassette, so you can check yourself. So you won't be doing that. Let's see. Given the name, given interval name and root note, play the correct shape on guitar. I guess you have to listen to it for this part. Yeah. Well, can't do that because I don't think I can play that stuff without getting in trouble. All right. So next, these are the last 2.5 pages, but this is basically it. We're coming to the end. Fretboard and voice integration. Here are a few melodies using various scales. Play and sing through these slowly, then try improvising some of your own melodies. Exercises 194 and 195 use chromatic passing tones, notes that are not in the key. All right, let's just play through it. Here we go. So 1 and 2 and maybe we should go dirty for this part. Wait, I'm in the wrong spot. Oh, I played that wrong. I could barely even hit that note, that low of a note. So we got this one. more to go. Last one. Jesus Christ. I am going to fully disagree with this one, and I think this is going to discourage many people if they take this serious and they actually make it to this point in the book. At this point, you should be able to picture the fretboard in your mind, hum a melody, and simultaneously picture the fret that you would play to sound each note you are singing. I wholeheartedly disagree. Just because you go through what I just did there, or any of the singing things that I skipped, does not mean you should, at this point, be able to visualize the entire fretboard, sing any notes, and be able to know exactly where it is on the guitar. I think that is absolutely false. That is flat out wrong. No. No. You need way more training. Way more training if you're ever going to get to that point. Yeah. Continuing on, you can practice like this anytime you are by yourself and don't have your guitar in hand. You can even practice like this silently, creating riffs and melodies all in your mind. You're building a bridge directly from your imagination to the guitar. As you think the melodies, you can visualize the note patterns. Like, good luck. Good luck. You might be able to. I can kind of have an idea of things. Like, I actually came up with the riff. I'll play it. I came up with a riff. I actually heard it in my head, and I did figure it out. But it's not like I was able to see everything in there. Like, I had a general idea. Like, okay, well, it's going to kind of move like this. But only because I've played stuff for so many years. Yeah, picture the entire fretboard in your head right there, and yeah, just fucking hum it. Why can't you do that? Oh, goodness. So yeah, as you develop the ability to imagine notes... Did I skip something? Yeah, as you develop the ability to imagine notes more clearly and to know where they lie on the fretboard, the music you create will come more and more from melodies that you hear in your mind. It'll come from your musical creativity and not from reshuffling dots in a pattern. You are on your way to really expressing yourself through the guitar and developing your own style. Everything you listen to will begin to affect your playing because it affects your imagination. It affects what kind of musical ideas occur to you and where your ear wants the notes to move. Creative soloing. Melody is a succession of pitches. Some melodies are catchier and more singable than others, and these are often referred to as being melodic. Since a singable melody can't be too fast, melodic generally means slow to lead guitarists. However, a melody doesn't have to be slow. And the same melodic tendencies that make a slow line good, melodic, will make a fast line sound good. To apply the ideas of melodic tendency to faster soloing, you just have to know how to find the more important notes. How to outline a solo. Not all notes are created equal. Some notes stand out alone, while others only lend a small contribution to create a sum effect. Here are some principles that govern what notes will stand out more. By applying them, you can find the more important notes in a faster solo. The faster the notes go by, the less value each one has. When the notes are fast, you hear less of each and more of the overall effect of the group or run. I do agree with that. For example, if a run is in a minor pentatonic, you hear the feeling of that scale. Or, if the run moves up the major scale, you get the happy sound of that scale. If an arpeggio is played fast, you hear the tonality of that chord. Within the run, the particular notes that fall on downbeats will be naturally accented by the listener's ear. Also, the first and last notes of the run usually stand out more. When a run or riff comes back to one note repeatedly, that tone is stressed. The highest note in a run will stand out very strongly, even if it does not fall on a downbeat, and of course, any note that is paused on will stand out to the listener. Outline your solo by dropping out the less essential notes. Now, the notes that are left form a sort of skeleton or framework. Make these notes move melodically, and your solos will go somewhere. I feel like some information needs to be added in. Because how do you know which ones are the non-essential notes? I don't know. I understand what he was saying for all that, but this thing here was like just drop out the less essential notes. And anyway, making a move. Analyze your outline harmonically and melodically. Harmonically, look at how these notes relate to the underlying tonality or passing chord. Tonality refers to the key you're in. For example, in the key of A minor, the underlying tonality is A. As you have learned, each scale tone, 1 flat 2, or 1 minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, etc., lends its own qualities. If your outline shows that you are generally staying with the same scale tones, your solo will probably sound stagnant. Go somewhere else with it. You can also analyze these important notes melodically. Your ears hear the melodic intervals from one note to the next, as well as the harmonic qualities. For example, play a major sixth followed by a minor third. All right. I lost my place. There it is. Play a major sixth followed by a minor third. Harmonically, you know the effects that each tone offers, but when played one after another, your ear will hear the melodic interval of a diminished fifth. Analyze your outline for melodic leaps as well. So maybe I should do it more like I don't really hear that too well. Maybe on that part? I don't know about that one. Let's see. One key principle to be aware of is its continuity versus contrast. Notes derive their qualities from the musical context surrounding them. If a pattern is established, the notes that break the established pattern will get more attention. You can accomplish this by starting a sequence in a scale and then breaking it, perhaps by changing the type of sequence, changing the scale, or just stopping on a note. You can establish a rhythmic motif, a recurring rhythm fragment, then change it. Or you can play up or down a scale without skipping any tones, conjunct motion. Then use some melodic leaps, disjunct motion. By first establishing some sort of continuity, then breaking it, the contrast will create variety, and the contrasting part will stand out more. As you listen to the following solos, we won't be able to do that. As you listen to the following solos, notice how they move. All of the techniques mentioned above and more are incorporated in them. When writing them, however, I didn't think of any specific points. I just listened to my inner ear, and the musical ideas presented themselves. Well, So he gives you all these specific points to consider while writing your own solo, and then discusses how he didn't do it himself. So yeah, you got 3 things to listen to here, which we will not be doing. Then it says, analyze a few solos so that you understand these principles. Of course, you don't hold any specific theoretical ideas in mind when writing or playing. You simply follow your imagination, but somehow it rubs off on your creativity. If a solo sounds interesting, chances are some of these principles will be in there. There's a lot of stuff that could be added to that final section. That's the end of the book. It's over. It's done. So, yeah. I honestly don't see how anyone is really going to benefit a whole heck of a lot from knowing how to write their own solos from that part. I feel like a dick talking trash like that, but... Because, like, what would I say if Troy Stetina was, like, right in front of me? I don't know. I don't know how I'd respond to him about it, but I don't see how that's helpful. I just don't. Like, this seems like this almost like a throwaway section of the book. It's like, what, did Hal Leonard, the publisher, say that we need to have something in here about this subject? And he's like, fine, here's some stuff about writing a solo, there, and done. It felt like a very rushed throwaway part. The rhythm section of the book, also quite rushed. Not enough detail and steps along the way. But, I've said it before, I would imagine there have to be limitations put on what is in the book because it can only be a certain length, and then when it comes to the music, demonstrations, like the actual recording of it, restrictions on that too. I don't know. There's definitely some good advice in there, and you can use really any of the exercises to improve your guitar playing. But I personally would want to overhaul a lot of the stuff. Oh, really? So Andrew says, he actually said that they used to require them to keep the book shorter to reduce printing costs. Well, there you go. So that sucks. Maybe he had more and couldn't publish it in this length. Yeah, that's it probably. Yeah, well, if that was the case, then I think it would have been better just to leave out some of these things, like leave out the rhythm part, or leave out the how to write a solo part or whatever, because it's just like, well, what is this? Like, how is that going to help? That's why the new book is massive. Yeah, another student of mine, he has that thing, and he held it up and showed me, and he said like what you said, it's just all songs. So he said it's like nothing but a ton of etudes. And he said, the other student said the problem he has with that book is he just doesn't like any of the music. He's like, he'd rather have more focused exercises that address things that he wants to work on, instead of learning a bunch of other songs and whatnot that he doesn't even like. But yeah, the riff. And I'll put on the Sustainiac too here in a second. Yeah, just in my head, I didn't quite picture the fretboard, but I had like an idea of what I was hearing. So I did hear that in my head and then put it together. I'm like, yeah, I like that. So I gotta do something with it. Gotta do something with it. I gotta be careful tightening that damn nut. I don't want to twist the jack inside. I gotta order that tool that allows you to do it without breaking things in there. That was a baritone. So B standard. Good old B standard. Alright, so let's pop this battery back in. I gotta keep it out when I'm not using it, or else it'll drain the battery. So when it's plugged in, yeah, pretty dang cool. Oh yeah, it's a fun thing, fun little toy. Well, I really don't know how to answer that one. I'm pretty ignorant with this stuff. But if you turn the Steiniac off, I mean, I guess, yeah, now it's, I guess, acting like a regular one. Because now you can change the different pickups there. But as soon as the Steiniac is on, it doesn't matter what you do with the pickup selector. It's just that's on. All right. Well, that's going to have to do it for the week. I know I had a request for Chris Brooks, I think that's his name. I can't remember his name. I think it's his name. I'm going over neoclassical strategies, or picking strategies. So I might check that out. Maybe we can do that next time. But either way, we will be streaming again next week. And that's it. Speed mechanics for lead guitar has been worked through, and I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. All right. Thank you, everybody who came on, and we'll see you again